Hello. Crunchy, I'm so sorry to hear you fell and injured yourself. That's horrible. I hope you're okay. It was not your best moment, so I'll be looking and vibing for the day. Yeah, definitely, get some rest. Um, no. You are very kind, Crunchy. Also, Red Rock, hello. Porcupine, how are you? Vana, hello. And Casper, dang, lots of people. I feel like my voice, I don't think I'm losing it, but I had a long day today and I already feel like I worked a full day already and I just got home and I had like 25 to 30 minutes to like just sit around and try to relax before stream. But for some reason, I wasn't even talking much, but I feel like now that I'm talking, I feel like my voice is tired, which is weird because I hadn't talked much at work. Anyway, it's very weird. But yeah, I guess maybe that'll go away. Graphic, how are you? Hello. Adigio, hello. Shen Chan, hope you're doing well. Okay. But yeah, I think I'm gonna need all the time I can to do something today. So, and since I don't know what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start now. Normally I just hang out and chat for a bit, but you know what? I'm still gonna chat, but I feel like at some point I'm just gonna forget that I'm painting and just start talking. Mickey Moki, hello. How's everyone doing? Happy Monday. Okay, what do I maybe want to do today? Let's use. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do the thing. Oh, also you mentioned you started. Hold on, who was that? Was that Sumi? No. Oh, it was Casper. I started doing the thumbnail speed painting stuff because of it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's great if you don't know what you want to paint and you have other interests. I think that's one of the key parts for me though, is that it used to be when I would start painting just random blobs that I'd be like, oh, this is boring. I'm not inspired. It's just why invest time painting some random thing, right? I mean, right? It's like it's not like I like to paint the vacuum cleaner that's left out because I didn't put it away earlier. But like, it's not like that is interesting, right? I can't get super pumped up and inspired about that. So like, why these random blobs? But I think there are like, if you inject bits of like art theory, I guess, into them, suddenly you can get interested in sort of trying new things. If that makes sense, I don't know. That's how I feel about it anyway. Yeah, Crunchy, I hope you have a quick recovery. Please rest. But yeah, how's everyone's? I was gonna say weekend, but Monday. Hope you're all doing well. So anyway, the thing I'm gonna do today, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but the thing I'm gonna try is just laying down a whole bunch of different colors, literally just color blobs like this, and maybe I'm just gonna cover the canvas with color blobs. And lag in the process. And then I'm just gonna start. Oh, I didn't mean to pick that color. That's okay. We'll go with it. I'm sure we can figure something out. That one's actually the coolest so far. Okay. Joe, I managed to get the hand the way I wanted. Now I have to start coloring. Oh, yes. Let me take a look. Oh, nice. Okay, see, I didn't realize what you were doing exactly, because when you used your own hand as a reference, obviously you have more than 3 fingers. So yeah, that's cool though. I think it looks really good. It's removing the barrier of anxiety, put something on the paper for me, and it feels nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny though, because I think at one point for me, when I just did, or also, how do I say your name? Igdiyasu. Aisu. Igdi Isu. How are you, Igdi? Or do I call you Isu? Or I'll just call you Igdi Isu. But yeah, hello. Yeah, I think at one point for me though, I struggled a lot with coming up with stuff. And I actually maybe not even partly, probably mostly, just because I had too high of expectations. Like, I wasn't the type of person where like everything seemed interesting to draw. I couldn't just sit down and draw because if it wasn't something that I felt like was either important or interesting. There was basically no reason to draw it, right? It wasn't like I needed more reasons. So maybe high expectations or something. I mean, I think it's a few things, but yeah, that was definitely one of the things. So, but also I think it was just drawing from like having a what do you call it? Like changing my point of view, kind of, right? Like switching it around into more, study focused as opposed to I need to come up with some Marvel looking idea, or novel idea, not Marvel. I don't know why I said Marvel. This is kind of like last thumbnail. So yeah, I think that was a big thing. That demon is looking great. Yeah, it looks great. Okay, maybe some green. Let's do a bunch of green stuff today. I don't know. I feel like I very rarely actually get to paint green thumbnails because nobody ever votes for them. For a while I was thinking I had a bias against green thumbnails, but I'm pretty sure it's you guys. It's people who vote or don't vote. Or maybe that's not true. Maybe whenever I do have green thumbnails or greenish, I either change them to be not green, or I just never paint on them after stream. I think that's another thing. I have a strawberry shake and I'm at work, but no one is here again, so I'm just vibing. Nice. I don't know what you do for work, but I feel like being able to just hang out on streams with a strawberry shake sounds like a pretty cool... I'm kind of jealous. Although you probably do more people interaction than me. It sounds... You do some sort of... like, you're public facing, right? So like customer service or like you work in a store or shop of some sort. Is that what you do? I forget. But anyway, I think I work at an expensive work boot store. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's definitely wouldn't be the job for me. But it is cool though that you have those not limitations, those I don't know, freedoms. Hey, Azel, how are you? It's funny, when I was in Austria, one of the things that was not, I guess it was a bit shocking, maybe culture shock, not really, but one of the things that was that stood out to me was their stores. In the U.S., we have like maybe not over all of the U.S. I don't know how other places are, but I know where I live. We have like the very little freedoms for the employees who are in the check stands at grocery stores, and it's like they have to stand, no sitting allowed unless you have a disability or something, and basically they say you have to stand, like no drinks or beverages in the check stands unless maybe it's water with a lid and maybe then possibly, but definitely nothing like, I don't know. It's just like there's all these stupid limitations, or not limitations, restrictions. And then they act like all these other things are important. Anyway, it's really weird. Anyway, and checkers in the US go way slower. So it was funny because oftentimes one of the arguments about like you can't sit or something is that it looks unprofessional and you end up getting too relaxed and you end up going slow and it hurts, efficiency or something like that. I don't know if that's actually the argument, but that's always kind of the way I understood it. But anyway, then I was in Austria and like all the checkers are just like chilling and sitting, but they're all super fast. And the second you get in line, like they're like shoving you out the door because it's like, the second you pay for your stuff, it's like pick it up and run. Like there's no like they don't want to wait for you to, slowly bag your groceries. Like you have to just be on top of it, throw it in your bag and get the heck out of there. Which is such a contrast from the US because I feel like they prioritize getting people, people have picked out their stuff and they prioritize getting them out the door, right? Which makes sense because not only is it good for business because you can move higher amounts of people, but also the customer doesn't want to just hang out and chat all day in the store. Like, to me, that's good customer service because I can get home quicker, right? I don't have to hang out in the grocery store chatting with some cashier who doesn't actually care about my day, right? So, anyway, I thought that was awesome. But then thinking to like other places in the US, like it really is almost opposite, how just a different emphasis. And I think my brother was saying that some places, maybe somebody from Sweden can confirm this, that some places have grocery stores like specific lines to chat. It's like it's the slow line. They're friendly. They greet you. They chat. It's almost like a social aisle in the grocery store. Which anyway, I thought that sounded really bizarre, but I guess it's kind of cool if you have options. I don't know, but I don't like all the grocery store stuff that I've worked at has always had like these dumb rules about no being able to sit, absolutely, like there would be no, you'd probably get fired if you were just like doodling and like when there wasn't customers. You'd probably you'd get like talked to in a stern way and make you feel bad, and then they'd tell you to not do that because you could be doing other things, which is like code word for I want you to look like you're doing stuff, because you can't actually do anything, because then if you leave your check stand, you'll get yelled at for not, being there with customers. Anyway. So yeah, it's a whole thing. Anyway. Oh, Kath, hello. Oh man, I got fired because I fainted too. Wait, what? Seriously? Wait, I can't you fainted? So, okay. I feel like that one sentence has so many questions for me. First of all, where the heck are you working that you fainted multiple times? And second, why are you getting fired for what? What is happening here? I don't. Jeez. Okay. Anyway, so I should keep painting. I want to fill up these squares. Hold on. Square filling up. But yeah, Kath, how are you doing? Oh wait, I wanted some greens. Let's do some blue greens. Maybe some dark blues. Good. Had your presentation today and it went amazing. Ah, that's good, Kath. Wait, so now let's see. Do you have like something else coming up also, or that's amazing that it went well? I'm just trying to think. Are you back on like trying to in crunch mode still, or are you? I never know. It's so hard to keep track of what everyone's schedules are. Yep, a big assignment is left. Okay, you have one big assignment left. Okay. Anyway, there's some stuff here. It's very, very loose. Okay. So what I'm gonna do here in a second, and it might look stupid to you guys because you're not gonna be able to see what I see. Actually, it shouldn't look stupid. It should look interesting, maybe. But basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn these to black and white. And when I do turn them to black and white, actually they're black and white right now, but they're not going to stay that way for long. I'm just trying to make sure I get a wide range of values. Some darks, some lights. I don't probably need this many. And then I'm going to start focusing, just trying to do composition, but I just want to grab, let's do some super bright stuff. Thank you, Baked Cupcake. Thank you for the follow. I want a baked cupcake. Wait, how else do you make cupcakes? Aren't all cupcakes baked? Are there no baked cupcakes? Like ones that just... I don't know. Wait, I'm sorry, your name got me thinking. Mandatory voluntary is just like one big oxymoron. Yeah, seriously. Okay, let's see. Yeah, and I was too sick to fight it in court. It was at Walmart and I was getting really sick. I ended up in the hospital with 165 BPM heart. Oh my gosh. Dang, was that because of the work environment or was that like other issues? Like health related issues? Because funny enough, I worked at Walmart back in high school. So this is like 15, 20 years ago or something. I don't dang, I'm getting old just saying that. The best experience I ever had with like a manager who technically could just be a jerk if they wanted, but they were actually super kind was at Walmart. And it was actually so I haven't had many health issues, but anyway, let's just put it this way. Due to I was in my teens, right? I was in high school. Me and some friends, we were being stupid, and so we were like cliff jumping off a cliff into water, which is, it was totally, we didn't technically get injured or anything. It could have probably been, but anyway, we didn't. Well, except the part where, because of like, it was so high up, when I hit the water, like my lung, like it, I don't know if it like shook something loose. Anyway, it was not until the next day that I had like trouble breathing and I didn't know what was going on. And it was like, every time I tried to breathe in air, it would just start hurting and I couldn't breathe properly. And it ended up being like how do you describe it? So like your lung, it wasn't, so it was like, it could have been really bad. I could have maybe died. I don't know. But anyway, but like your lung has a bunch of layers, right? So like this is the inside of your lung is over here, right? Like inside, side, and then this is outside, right? So your lung has a whole bunch of these little like stringy layers, I guess. And there was like a hole or something in a couple of them. So there was like a bubble where the air would go through. So like, we're gonna make it green. So the air would come into like an outside pocket, but it couldn't, like I couldn't use the air. So it was like on the verge of a collapsed lung. No, it wasn't a fully collapsed lung. It wasn't a collapsed lung. Almost a collapsed lung. But it didn't have, it was weird because it didn't, so like, I don't know what it was. Maybe I just had weak lungs or something. But it's like a tiny little hole or something. But basically it was like a leaky lung, right? Because it was like leaking into this outer membrane. And then, anyway, it could have been really bad. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, how dare you get it? No, anyway, so that was scary, except the remedy was literally just try not to breathe and maybe it'll go away. That was literally the remedy. I mean, I'm obviously, that wasn't quite what the doctor said, is try not to breathe. But essentially they're like, oh, it should go away on its own, which is kind of silly because it sort of appeared on its own after a full day of me doing stupid stuff and almost dying. So anyway, that was dumb. I shouldn't have done that, but no. So they didn't actually say don't breathe, but basically it hurt to breathe, and they said if I take deep breaths, it could just make it worse. So the advice was basically don't do anything and try not to breathe hard, and hopefully it'll go away. And if it doesn't, you can go back, but instead of coming here, go straight to the ER. So yeah, that was the thing. Anyway, but when I had trouble breathing, it wasn't like, oh my God, I can't breathe. It was like, it kind of hurts when I take a breath. And he's like, huh, that's weird. I'm like, all right, I think I need to go home. Like, this is not good. Cause like I knew something was wrong. And he was like, you're not walking home. I'm going to drive you. And I'm like, okay. So this guy just offered to drive me home. He made sure I got home okay and that there was somebody there. It's like, I don't want you to die. And he was actually concerned about my health and everything. And it was all good. And then I told my mom, she's like, that sounds scary. You're going to the clinic. And then we went to the doctors and they're like, yeah, this is actually really scary. But then you survived. But anyway, so yeah, he was like, instead of like, oh, tough it out, it's probably nothing. Anyway, Vana, thank you so much for the sub. I really appreciate it, Vana. Yeah, it is good, because like, I know my. Can I say this? Anyway, the place that I work now, the manager. I'm not saying any names, but honestly, I think if someone came to him with that issue of saying, "Hey, it hurts when I breathe," and I'm not sure if I'm gonna be good enough to work, I think he would say, "Oh, you can just tough it out." Like, not even joking. I think that would be his response. And that's kind of scary. Like, if I were in that position as a teenager, I don't know what I would have said. Like, I don't want to lose my job by being like, "No, screw you, I'm going home," right? Like, there, but there's a lot of pressure, and it's not really real. Again, I mentioned this before on stream. A lot of like those types of jobs, and I'm just calling them like service jobs, or I guess retail. There's like a fake sort of urgency, like, "Oh no, we need you here." No, you don't. You'll manage. Like, unless you're a really small like mom and pop shop or something where there's literally no one else there if you're not there. Like, even then, if you're just an employee and not like, I don't know. I feel like there's, yeah. Anyway, so maybe it was some of that and just some of like, I don't know. But yeah, now I don't really give a crap. If something is wrong and I don't feel well enough to be somewhere, I'm just gonna go home. I'm like, see ya. If you can't deal with it, that sucks for you. We need people walking with a Christian clergy incense burner. That's what I do. Wait, walking with your 1 liter flask bound. Wait. What? I think I missed something. Asthmatic since forever. 2 doctors not believing me for my Volatrin pumps. No prescriptions if bought in China, though. Christian clergy incense burner. I'm not quite. I think I'm not fully understanding. Joe, do you know how to draw faces? Yeah. I mean, I can manage. I'm typically not very good without references, but I would just use a reference. Like, I know enough of the structure of what's underneath to be able to draw faces. And so if I'm looking at a reference for proportions, then I can sort of put the underlying structure under the face and sort of I can then draw the face, right? So even if it's like not amazing lighting, I feel like I can still get by with drawing faces as long as I have the reference. But I still need it for like good proportions and sizes. Like that, some of that stuff is a little bit I'm not very good at it and I don't do it enough. Or like any of the like the nuance to drawing faces. So no, I definitely almost have to use references to draw faces, which again, that's fine. I mean, I feel like you should use references for anything. Anyway, so okay, I'm gonna start trying to come up with some compositions now that I just have some color palettes. Hey, how are you, Neo? Hello. Hope you're doing well. One of these casual that's exactly what it is. They called it a spontaneous pneumothorax. Although it wasn't very spontaneous, since I literally was jumping off a cliff the day before, which is why I got it. It was the sudden impact. So not exactly very spontaneous, but that's what they called it. But yeah. I'm glad you're better now, Basilisk. Yes. I like this method. Yeah, I just think it adds more color to the stream. Also, I don't like these colors. Hold on, let me just put green over it. I'm good indeed. I refound your sheep piece today, and I have it as my wallpaper, and it makes me vibe. Makes the vibe over day a lot better. It makes the vibe of the day a lot better. Gotcha. Speaking of sheep piece. But I'm glad to hear that. That's nice of you to say. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna make my screen black and white. You guys can't see this, I don't think. Also, not yet. Hold on. Let me pick like a purple. Okay. So yeah, you guys can't see my black and whiteness of this, but that's okay. I could make it black and white, but I don't know if it'll look good. How am I? I'm doing well. I worked all day today, and then I kind of ran home, and then now I'm streaming. So I really haven't done anything except work today, and I'm pretty tired already. And in fact, I kind of feel like my voice is tired, which is weird because I wasn't talking much. Redeem, new sheet piece. I'll get a link if you're unsure which one. I am kind of unsure which one you mean. I think I know, though. But the one with the windmill to go with the other sheet piece? Yeah, that works. It might be a while before I send. Or wait. Yeah, why don't you send it to me, just so I know. Especially, because since I'm not totally sure right now, I'm going to even be more unsure in however long it takes me to send it to you, because I don't even have them yet. So typically you can only redeem prints that I have, but there's enough that I will, if you're okay with waiting, then I'm okay with you waiting. I asked if you know how to draw faces because I need an explanation. I mean, the short answer is use a reference, and if you can't find a reference to match your pose, take one yourself. That's probably the best way. No, I wouldn't be the person to do a tutorial. Like, I paint environments. There's better people out there with tutorials on how to paint faces. So my approach to how to paint anything, I can give you a tutorial on that, how to paint anything. Basically it's more of a, well, not really a tutorial. It's not a tutorial. It's a way of thinking about painting. And that's essentially to learn how to construct, let's just write it out. So the things you need to learn to draw anything is learn basic 3D construction, right? So construction in 2D. Construction. So this is thing like forms in perspective, right? Forms in perspective, right? So this is one of the things you need to know how to draw forms in perspective. Then there's lighting, shading. So let's just call it under forms is shading. This is a bad spot to do all this, but whatever. Right, this is shading. We're gonna put lighting here because that's how I think of it. So basically, there's this sort of very non-artsy way, right? Send it to you. Probably just send it to me directly because I'm not gonna see chat. It doesn't timestamp it or anything. So yeah, probably just send it to me directly. But anyway, so the first thing is the non-artsy version, right? This is more like the craft. This is the draftsmanship, right? This is things like drawing cylinders in perspective. Maybe you want to draw one on a different side, right? And knowing how to tilt them and rotate them, or drawing cubes, right, from different angles. We shouldn't be able to see that edge, right? Or maybe a cube from this angle. That's a weird angle, right? I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, but the idea is that, you're tilting things. Maybe you draw a cube from above, right? This kind of thing is important. And once you can draw these, and, then of course cones, and you can draw what other cylinders, cones, spheres. Is that, what else? I don't know. My brain can't think. Okay, so that's the first thing. That's construction. There's a ton of information on this, but then there's things, essentially anatomy, but I want to just call it structure, right? Understanding what you're drawing, whether it's this is where you could go look up something online. That's structure, right? You could go look this up online. This is the planes of the face. So or maybe it's a leaf that you're drawing, right? And you can find a leaf that's this shape, but then you find it has this little thing in it. And if you were to do a cross section of it, but it would look like this, right? And understanding these forms, because then you can start drawing once you can draw any of the forms in any shape and any, whatever, and you can make curves and you can draw them in perspective, and you can that's a weird shape. But once you can draw these forms and you can contour them, then you can start changing, you can start doing things like this, where maybe this form, right, is curving, and that now it's a leaf, and maybe that one looks funny, but whatever, that works. But it's kind of like once you can understand the form and the structure, once you understand the structure, almost like the blueprints, right? Then you can reconstruct it from the ground up. So same thing with a face. If you know, like for example, the Loomis method, right? It takes a sphere, and then you're essentially shaving off. You're essentially putting these circles here, or these ellipses, to cut off half of the sphere, right? So maybe they're here, and so you could erase them if you wanted. But in the Loomis method, then you draw it down. I don't exactly know it entirely, but this establishes the tilt of the head is this little ellipse, and then you can drop the thing down, and then it goes like this, and then you can drop this angle down, and then of course this needs to be mirrored, so again we're in perspective, and then the halfway mark is like something, then you can divide it again. Oops, that's not going that way, right? Then you can divide it again and again. And then this is like the bottom, let's see, this is the mouth. No, these are the eyes. This is the bottom of the nose, and then the mouth is down here. And of course I drew this with a really big head. Anyway, I don't remember the specifics, but there's like different methods to draw faces, right? And the Loomis method is one. There's tons of info about how to draw heads, but that's all irrelevant if you can't draw the forms, right? You have to be able to, like when you see a head, let's say, again, I'm not a good person to explain this, but if I'm going to just use a head as an example. So face, let's see, face, photo. I don't know what to type. Let's find a face. So I think what a lot of people do, let's just say I'm going to just find a face, something with a little bit of lighting that isn't completely flat, because it'll help me make my point easier. I don't know. Here's some random stock photo. Nah, that's not a good one. Why am I just looking through faces here? Okay, I like this face. I don't even know if it's a real face. It might be CG. Anyway. So let's just say this is your face. That's not your face. Let's go File, New. Okay, so for example, if you were drawing something like this, it's not so much as like, oh, I just want to copy the, it's not like you're just copying, except over, it's not like you're trying to just trace out what the face looks like, except doing it over here. Oh my god, I can't see any of that. Hold on. Let me just dump that over there. That's going like this, right? What is happening? Let's go like this. There we go. Right? It's not like you're just tracing the edges, right? This is what like somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing would do, right? Which layer am I on? Right? You'd get the shape of the head, and you're like, okay, well, he has an ear. It's kind of here, right? Here's the ear. Okay, he has a nose, right? This is not useful, right? It's totally a mess. I'm trying to make it a mess, right? It's like, okay, well, here's his mouth. And like, you might get something that kind of looks like a face, right? It's possible. And if you're really good at copying, you could get a face. But this is not a good way to do it, right? And the reason this isn't a good way is because there's no form, right? You're like, what is happening? Like, in reality, right, you have like the planes of, like, you have these little cheek areas, right? You have where like the light would hit here, but then the form curves, right? You have these little top areas of here, right? You have different planes of the face, right? The head is not just perfectly round, right? You have this little brow ridge area where you can see it, right? You can see the highlights on here. So understanding the underlying structure, like I was saying earlier, right, with the structure, understanding that, you can go look up, again, there's tons of info. Anything, and sometimes there isn't good info. Sometimes it's a matter of having to figure it out on your own by, deconstructing things into simplified forms, however you want to do it. This probably isn't perfect, right? There's like a weird thing here. I don't know. And then this kind of goes the other way. Anyway, I don't know what I'm doing. But like, anyway, so like this is where all the light is hitting, and you can tell that there's an underlying structure. So instead, if you understand that structure, and then you can read, like, then you can be like, okay, well, now when I redraw this, you can start with some simplified version, right? You might say, okay, well, I understand that this part of the head is more or less a giant sphere, and then maybe, again, like using that Loomis method, you don't have to use the Loomis method, right? You can chop off that sphere, and then you can bring it down, and then you have like this thing. And again, this might not be the same shape as this guy's head, but you can start to be like, okay, well, this is the round part of the cranium, right? This is the round part of the cranium. And of course, these go off. But like, there's, oh, and then again, this is the midline, right? And then this line down here. Anyway, didn't Joe say 5 minutes ago? Yeah, I wasn't gonna do it. No, I'm not doing a face tutorial. This isn't a face tutorial. Don't take any of this as how to draw a face. I don't know how to draw faces. My point is, I'm not teaching you how to draw faces. This is not a face. This is just you understanding the structure. If people who know the structure of the face, even if there was no lighting and this was a flat image, they would still understand that the eyebrows bump out here, right? From a profile, these eyebrow areas are, if you were to light it, you're going to get more light right here than you are under here, because under here it's totally dark and there's no light. But you wouldn't necessarily know that if you didn't know how to draw, if you didn't know the structure. Anyway, I don't know if any of that made any sense. But instead of thinking of it like how to draw faces or how to draw trees, right? It's not how to draw some X thing, right? It's all the same. There's a form with lighting on top. Sometimes the lighting is shiny, sometimes the lighting reflects because you're drawing water or you're drawing hair, right? Sometimes it's not so shiny, like maybe on the cheeks. And then as you get in like the greasier parts of the face, maybe it does get a bit more shiny. But like, it's just a form, right? In 3D space, like these are simplified forms with lighting and texture, and it's almost like you're being your own 3D render engine, right? You construct the wireframe out of simple geometry, and then you cast a light on it, and then you shade, maybe there are lights coming from here, and you're like, okay, well, this side is going to be pretty dark because, well, that's where the light is, but then maybe the light starts to wrap around, so okay, I'm going to light that. This edge could be a little bit brighter, and then this is going to cast a shadow. And like, once you start, casting a light on these forms, right, this is going to be here, and it's like, okay, maybe this starts to wrap around. Okay, so anyway, there's our bad lighting scenario. But anyway, once you have your wireframe, right, you then cast your light on it, you shade where it needs to be shaded, then you can basically, you have like a rudimentary version of this, right, of a face. Whose head was that? I have no idea. Some dude on Google. Anyway, the point is, it's not like, I feel like typically when people draw like a head and it doesn't look good, it's because they're missing the geometry of it, right? There's no like plane changes. Instead of saying, here's a head, God, I'm really zoomed out. Hold on, I need like a blank thing. File, new. Hold on, this is gonna get really bright for a second. Right, I feel like there's this idea of like, instead, the head isn't a 2D shape, right? That's 2D. Instead, the head, I mean, I'm not going to draw a head because I'm going to get it wrong and I don't want to totally embarrass myself. But instead, you could draw, imagine you're now just constructing random geometry, right? Maybe you draw something like this. Maybe there, again, this is not a head. This is going to be something else, right? Maybe there's some sort of shape like this that comes out of here, right? So you're drawing some simple, maybe this is circular. I don't know how this thing cuts into this. But anyway, I'm basically inventing three-dimensional form, right? And I think maybe you want to put something on top of here, right? So you draw another shape. And this one now we're looking up at it, right? This is the same way you draw heads, except whatever three-dimension, maybe there's a flat plane here, right? Where it's like this part is flat. Okay, well, let's make that flat, right? We can make that flat. We can just, represent it as a flat shape, right? Again, this could be a head. I mean, it's not. But the idea is that I'm just making three-dimensional forms. Maybe then this has these flaps that come down or something, right? I don't know. This is looking trippy, but maybe these are just this weird shape or something. Maybe it just indents here, right? It just kind of gets squeezed. But anyway, let's just say I come up with some geometric shape, right? Maybe there's something here like that. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm drawing. But let's just say you have some shape. This shape is the same as this shape, right? But this has all sorts of geometry, right? If you were to trace this, right, you're like, tracing. Like, it's the same as this shape, right? But you're never going to be able to, like, if you don't understand how to sketch out geometry, good luck shining a light. When it comes time to render this and to make this look like a face, if you can't draw the underlying form, you're never going to be able to cast the light where it needs to go. Like, you can maybe just copy a reference and be like, oh, there's shadow under this spot because, I'm casting a light from, say, this side or something. Right, okay, well, maybe a shadow is coming this way, right? And maybe this isn't dark, and this isn't light. Maybe it gets a little darker over here, right? You could do this by reference, but good luck inventing your own. Like, and I'm much more interested, I guess, inventing, and this is probably not how that would look, but I'm not that great at it. I actually don't do a lot of this kind of drawing thing where you're like taking forms and you're describing them. I'm just gonna, it's a peanut. That's what it is. I drew a peanut. Anyway. But the idea is that you need to understand the structure of your form before you try to shade it, right? And because faces don't have a lot of hard lines and they're just like a lot of rounded objects, it really helps to, you almost, it's even harder to draw it properly, right? Or maybe if you were to drawing a donut, right? These lines come outward, right? It's not as simple as just drawing the two-dimensional object and being like, here's my head. Like, no, that's not a head. Heads have contours, right? They have the sides of the face, right? They have the center line. They have noses. Where is the nose? Like down here, right? They have noses that you are, again, it's like a shape that you can look up at, right? They have eye sockets that can sink into the head, right? This is not how you draw faces, by the way, right? They have all this geometry. They have little planes up here where the light can shine on the cheeks. Right? They have planes under the chin where God, this is creepy. Right? There's so much stuff, like it's really about drawing forms in 3D space, right? That's the gist of it. This kind of thing. Combining them, mishmashing them, understanding where if you're to combine two shapes together, understanding that edge thing. Anyway. Yeah, that was a really long-winded explanation. That was like the worst rant I've ever ranted on. Sorry, I apologize. And yeah, don't burn your dinner, Kath. Hi, Joe. I also stream Fancy Landscape Oil. Glad to see your work. Aw, well, thanks for being here. Yeah, I'm starting. I haven't done anything today, but I'm totally gonna do something. Anyway, I don't know if that was clear at all, but basically the idea, I think it's just the wrong mindset to be like, how do you? And that's maybe, I don't know if were you around yesterday? We watched some tutorials, and I mentioned this in chat. Is I'm not a huge fan of how to draw X things. They were videos Observer linked, but nothing against like that type of. I mean, no, I do kind of have. Well, how do I put it? I think it's fine to watch videos that are like how to draw a nose, right? But the problem is, if it's just telling you the shapes to make, you're never going to be able to draw the nose from a different angle, right? You need to be able to like, or there was like a video like how to draw eyes, right? And then you draw this shape. It's like, no, you don't know what shape you're going to draw because it depends on which way the head is turned, right? Like, the shapes change. The forms are the same, right? And I guess that the easiest explanation, or the easiest example of that, right? The shape, if I draw a cube, right? And you were to ask, how do I draw a cube in 3D? I'm like, oh, it's simple. You just draw this shape, right? This shape, which is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a 6-pointed thing, right? So all you have to do is just, you draw this shape, and then you make your cube. Well, no, that's not how you draw a cube, right? You could get to a cube by doing this, right? Being like, I'm gonna draw a cube, and it might look, I don't even remember what I did. Right, this, right? You could do that to draw a cube, but that's not how you draw a cube. You draw a cube by understanding the structure of a cube, and then you can start to say, oh, okay, maybe I'm going to draw a plane in perspective, right? So this is representing a square, and now I can draw the rest of it, right? You can draw it that way, or maybe the square in 3-dimensional space looks like this, right? This is still a square in 3-dimensional space. And then you can finish it by understanding how the other shapes would look in 3-dimensional space, right? So anyway, my point isn't so much like, I think that the idea of like how to draw X, that the approach is the same, right? Get the fundamentals down, go learn the anatomy of the thing, right? Whether it's a rock that you're trying to draw or a tree or a house, right? That would be like the equivalent of learning architecture a little bit, right? It doesn't matter what you're drawing. You learn the fundamentals, and then you learn the subject that you're trying to draw, or the bones of it, also known as anatomy, or the planes of, whatever. And then you can start reconstructing it. And obviously there's more, like how to render, shiny material or skin or whatever. But again, it kind of, at some point you can start breaking them all down. Anyway, that was a big rant for a topic that I shouldn't even talk about, because I don't do a ton of construction. I mean, I know my basic shapes, but I kind of skip the super constructing phase, if that makes sense. Anyway. Did anyone do the rant command? Yeah, we have a rant command. Oh, yeah, I'll do a 5-minute thumbnail. I'm going to start by one of these, though, because I haven't done any thumbnails yet today. And we're 15 minutes into stream, and I haven't done a single thumbnail. This is going to... we may not get it voting. Just a heads up. We may not get to voting. I'm kind of tired today. That's just... Anyway. But I will end up turning one of these into a painting. Okay, I'm gonna start, but I'm gonna start in this one. So I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but I'm just gonna cheat. Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna start the timer. No votes, only rants. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna start by trying to get some light and shadow. So I'm adding in some values. I do like that. Ooh, I have an idea. I don't know what to do with this one. I'm just gonna cheat. Yeah, just cheating, No, I'm cheating by starting with my color blobs. Let's do some more interesting shapes, though. So, for example, maybe you or me or whoever. I'm just gonna make some shapes. So I'm trying to make something that I'm looking up at. So I'm drawing. Hope your days are going well. I'm doing well today. It's been a day. It has been a day. It's been a long day. But I'm here. I don't know, that looks like a tongue. It's a weird shape. Maybe there's some characters down here. This is totally how I draw people. Okay, there's some people. Maybe let's see. Maybe so for example with what I was talking about with the contouring, right? This is the same thing. I could just draw a shape, but what I'm instead gonna do is over the top of it is I'm constructing contours of stuff, right? Maybe these are rounded, maybe this is more perspective-y, right? And so sometimes I'll just sketch in some lines that basically tell my brain what the actual form is, so that when it comes time to light the thing, right? For example, this is underneath, right? And then maybe these are on top. That way, when it comes time to light the thing, I can have an understanding of where my light and shadow is supposed to go, right? That's kind of the, I mean, it's the same building blocks for this, even though I'm doing it just, I'm making up as I go, as sort of any other exercise. I mean, I'm obviously it's a little different, but it's pretty similar. Like the thought process is the same. And if I don't know how to draw something, right, this is where references, when people say reference, I think typically, at least for me, the best way to reference early on is to reference the anatomy, right, or the bones of whatever you're drawing, right? If you're going to reference architecture, you don't have to reference the building itself. You can just reference what, how is it constructed, and you could, you could superimpose it onto your own drawing if you wanted. Right? The idea isn't I don't know how to draw anything. It's I just don't know what buildings and specifically or certain types of architecture look like. I don't know how they're constructed. But the main thing is having some sort of fundamental, some sort of fundamentals down, that you can kind of invent stuff. Anyway, I'm going to color dodge this. But yeah, my day's going well, Skittle. Just tired. My brain is functioning slightly. Let's see what happens. Maybe I'll just add in some. I feel like I want this all to be green. Very rarely do I use green color dodge. But that's something. And then I'm going to use like a... Okay, I'm not sure if I like that thumbnail. I mean, it's kind of cool. I'm trying to just add in some stuff back there. I mean, yeah, that's kind of cool. 5-minute thumbnail. All right. And see, now I'm getting warmed up. That's good. Okay, that's good. I think I'm warmed up. You mean you... I mean, you can just make another true. Yeah, that is true. There we go. All right, one more 5-minute thumbnail. All right, Do you have a... I'm just going to start with this one, number 2, because I don't know what I'm doing with that, and I think it's going to change the most. But I'm just going to, again, draw right over the top of one of these. All right, I'm going. I'm doing it. Let's do something tall. Oh, actually, I have an idea. This kind of... So just values. This looks like a... Actually, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Number 2. 3, 2, 1. I still want to hear about diffusion of light. Maybe 5-minute thumbnails are not the most hopeful for that. Diffusion of light. Like, oh God, is my brain ready for this? In what? Diffusing, like, just, I mean, so, okay, you know, this works. This works for diffuse light. So, I mean, basically just ambient light, right? Like it lights things without having a direction, right? That's what you're talking about, like non-directional soft light, I assume. Like that, because that's what diffusers typically do, right? They take a hard directional light, like you might have a hard directional light, and diffuse it in such a way that either lets some light through, right? But it's gonna like make a wall. So now the light coming through is just very soft, and it just kind of goes in all directions, right? Because I mean, I think by definition, diffusing is just scattering the light, right? You have focused directional light coming in, and then it goes through like a sheet or something, right? And then it goes, it bounces around, and it just lights up the scene, right? So that's typically, I mean, in a sense, that's what's happening with the sky, right? The sky is being illuminated by the sun. It's all sunlight, right? But in the case of sunlight, it's bouncing around up there, and it makes it, you know, in the atmosphere, and then you have this blue atmosphere light coming down, right? Because that's the light that travels the furthest through the atmosphere is blue light, and that's why the sky's blue, and it ends up lighting your whole scene because of that. Also, I feel like I should start over for this, but that's fine. So basically, with diffuse light, you're just, yeah, like fog or a leaf roof or something. Yeah, I mean, anything, any atmospheric. Yeah, it could be fog, smoke. It could be leaves, maybe kind of. But I mean, typically that even then you'll get things like dappled light, which isn't really diffused light. It's just, it's different. But yeah, I mean, I think all of that. But I think that the most obvious example is just non-directional lighting, which is sort of what I do in like 99% of my paintings, right? Is that I start without really any solid direction. Also, I feel like I should start, but maybe not. Right? And sometimes I'll just add it on by just, you know, adding like a layer of fog, right? Maybe we want some, what am I doing here? But yeah, so I think, I mean, to me, the diffuse light's the easy thing, right? Because that just is like, I mean, I kind of set almost as a rule of principle, like I set every single painting up in such a way that I'm going to have an ambient light source, right? I'm almost always, maybe with the rare except, so even like an indoor scene, right? Where you only have lighting and it might only be direct light, right? But you still get light bouncing around, and so you could initially paint the scene by only using the diffuse light, right? By only using all that light that's bouncing around. So everything would be visible before you add your direct light, because you're starting with the diffuse light. I mean, that's the same here, right? If you were to ask me what direction's the lighting coming from, well, there isn't one, right? It's just from above. Also, can I start over for the 5-minute thumbnail? This is, I haven't started yet. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna, because this is not, one, this is not turning out well, and two, I can't talk and, well, I can talk and paint at the same time, but I'm not doing it well right now. Also, I'm not sure what I want to do right now, so. Sorry, I'm panicking. But yeah, Limiller, thanks for the follow. So yeah, I mean, I typically start every painting as sort of diffuse lighting, right? Or ambient light, right? Technically, the ambient light from the sky is a diffuse light of the sun. Like it's the sun being spread out and filtered through the sky, through the atmosphere in the sky. I mean, I can tell you can start over, but when you ever cared about allowing of permits, fair. I thought your streamer chat relationship is we can suggest things and you reserve the right to ignore us. Yep, pretty much. That is the streamer chat relationship. Exactly. See? I feel, yeah. If anyone ever asks that, yeah, you can quote me on that. That is exactly how it is. But no, I don't like ignoring people. But anyway. So yeah, something like this, right? When I paint like a big sky like this, basically blue, it like my shortcut for like environments when I do like the the start dark and then go to light, that's basically just setting up a scene where the only light source is just this light from above, right? Or just wherever. Not even a directional. It's just lighting stuff, right? And it gets brighter as it gets further away. It's like there is no light source. It's just not dark, right? That to me is a diffuse light. I mean, that is just ambient skylight. So typically it's blue if it's the blue sky. If you're on an alien planet with a pink sky, it's going to be pink. But so for me, that's actually the easiest way to start, right? And then from there, if you want to add, directional light, then you can start, you have your objects and you're like, I want a light coming from over here. And then you can, decide where that light's going to hit this object and then where the shadow's going to be cast, right? That's all. But that to me is much more difficult because you actually have to make real decisions. Whereas when you're painting with just ambient light, you're kind of just making sure maybe the tops are a little darker. If there's a little, like a hole in something, maybe that hole gets a little bit darker because there's not as much light hitting it, right? So sometimes you're just making little things darker, right? If you have cracks or something up close, deep down in those cracks, you're gonna get those dark colors. But mostly everything is just this like blue ambient light. So that's how I think of diffusion. Or I mean, you could if you wanted to get really specific though, you could get on like a very micro scale, right? With like fabrics, and I mean there's so much of like what are those what do you call those things, like those lace, not lace, like a veil, right? Person with veil and in sun, right? There's probably some pretty good images of like people wearing like a wedding dress or something with their head covered, and the light, like the veil might, if it's a dark enough or if it's thick enough, it might cast, like maybe it lets some light through, but kind of it's still in shadow, but like it's not, so it's not really gonna be bright direct light. You're not, I think the main difference, okay, so let me back up for because you probably already, you guarantee you already know this, but I'm gonna repeat it anyway. So the difference between hard and soft light, right, is that hard light, because it has a hard direction, if you have an object, right, like a square, right, or just a tower, right, when you cast that light on it, it's going to obviously do that, but it's going to have this hard shadow, right? It's going to make this hard edge where there's a cast shadow, right? And this cast shadow is going to have like the shape. This is terrible, but maybe you get the point, right? So you're shining this light, and the shadow shape that it makes, why did I draw it like this? That was garbage, right? But anyway, the shape that this makes is just, it's going to have this hard edge, right? Whereas if you have a much softer light, right, you're not going to get a hard shadow. You're just going to get, you're going to have your form, right, whatever form it is, and you're going to have some sort of lighting on it, and it's going to vaguely be on one side, right? Like it's not necessarily going to cast a super hard shadow. You might get a little bit of a shadow, but the shadow's not gonna. It's gonna be softer, right? It's scattered, right? It's gonna be whatever, right? Why am I drawing my form so bad? But anyway, anyway. Maybe that explains, right? You're not gonna get these super hard edges. In some cases, there might be so much bounce light, you know, and light scattering around, right? Because the light might be coming here and it's bouncing off everything. It might even just light this side. Sometimes objects will just have, and I think this is how, like, if you never thought about directional lighting, a lot of people will draw their forms like this, right? Or if actually you've probably seen a lot of people render their forms like, you know, maybe you have, you know, let's do this, right? A lot of people will just add darkness on their sides. This is really common for character art, right? Where you start with like an ambient light where you just, if it's facing away from you, it's darker, right? And then it's, right? So a lot of people just render things like this. It doesn't matter what the form is. It could be an arm, right? Or that's not an arm. Let's just do a squiggle, right? Here's a shape. A lot of people just render or just shade the outside of the form, whatever it is. And this is not a great way of doing it, right? But this is just like without care of where the light's coming from, just general, like, oh, it's closer to me, it's lighter. It's farther away, it's darker. Like, this is not ideal, right? And, well, I don't think it's not bad, but the problem with this is that it doesn't really have a direction, right? It's kind of like, oh, it's kind of far away, so it's a little bit darker, right? It's not the worst way to render, but it's all ambient light, right? This is like, there is no direct light, and I think direct light gives you a lot of control over describing the form, right? Because now, I mean, but here's the cool thing, is you can do them both, right? You can have your ambient light lighting the thing, and then you can come over here with a flashlight, right? And you can like, boom, flashlight. And then this form now has these big lights that shine around the form, and, you know, they drop off and they cast shadows on the ground and get all the cool, you know, I'm rendering this poorly, but, you know, maybe this is, right, you're shining a light on here, and it's having these interesting shapes and shadows and stuff, right? And it's, you know, it's going to cast the shadow over here, and as a result, this part's going to get lit, right? And it's like, this is a really bad example. God, all my examples are terrible today. This is what happens when I try to explain things when I'm tired. But right, so now you have these highlights where the light's hitting, and also you have cast shadows from this object on the ground. I'm not sure what object this is. Let's just erase it before something bad happens. But anyway, the idea is that typically direct light is harder because you have to make real decisions, and sometimes those decisions, if your construction wasn't good, they become literally impossible. It's like optical illusion levels of confusing, right? Because if your forms aren't well defined and you don't understand what they are in three-dimensional space, it's very hard to put a shadow on them. Anyway, what tablet do I use? Oh, also Muke, sorry for ignoring you for so long. I didn't mean to. Oh yeah, a Cintiq 22 HD. Sorry. Oh, and I have my cold tea. Ooh, it's actually still warm. So yeah, I think that's probably... Yeah, I guess for me, ambient light is the default, right? And I think it is for most people, right? Like you said, you feel called out. I think most people's default is, I'm just going to do the general shading that you learned early on, right? Spheres are dark on one side, they get progressively lighter, right? Sometimes there's a little, and then, you know, next levels, like now there's a little bit of bounce light and you add that back in. That's still pretty much all ambient light. Like, unless you have a really hard shadow, right? But most people do just kind of shade things very softly, right? Because hard shadow, yeah, hard edges are really hard to pull off, no pun intended, because you do have to know the form that you're casting a light on, right? So, like this kind of environment is easy, right? you're just making shapes, or I'm just making shapes. You know, maybe there's some mountains in the background, right? It's nothing. It's really nothing fancy. Actually, let's try to make this more interesting though, right? So even sometimes, you know, if I put in like stairs here, let's say, right, these are gonna be weird stairs. Even this is all ambient light. It could just be represented as a lighter material, right? Maybe this has like a, maybe there's some temple or something. I don't know. Right, and I put a little tiny bit of softness under here. Still all ambient light, right? Sometimes there's just slightly less light reaching areas. There is no directional light. I could add a directional light. I could make this a much more intense light, and then I could start casting shadows. But this is all just, yeah, there's no directional yet. I may not add it. Not all light needs directional lighting. I mean, there's like, you know, like you said, foggy scenes, just overcast skies. Like so many photos in real life scenarios don't have a strong directional lighting, or even indoors, right? Where, I mean, typically there's also different terms, right? Because there's like soft ambient light, which ambient light is just kind of from all over typically, but then you have like, you know, soft directional light, which might be like an indoor lighting if you have like a lampshade where there is a light source and there's a definite direction to it, but it's still very soft, right? Because you have the big lampshade which is diffusing all the light, so it makes it a lot softer. Anyway, I'm not sure what's going on here. I don't like that. Okay. Ooh, actually, I liked some of those colors. That was kind of cool. Very neon. Okay. Let's try to redeem ourselves by drawing something that doesn't totally suck. I say this in the most kind way to myself. Sometimes you just know that you shouldn't be doing the thing that you're doing, which is drawing. And you're like, I'm gonna do it anyway, and then you're like, I already regret this. No, I was tempted to take today off. I was tempted. Okay. So what I typically like doing for directional light, right, because I could argue this is all going to be ambient light, but is oftentimes just taking, this is also why I like to use color dodge, or sometimes I'll use a lasso tool, and I'll come in here and I'll try to define, this is also why a lot of people use lasso tools for this, is because you're kind of defining shapes, right? So maybe I want the lighting from, I don't know, I mean, I feel like I want it from back here, right? I'm going to make like an orange light coming from here. So maybe this edge of the thing, right, we're going to light this edge a little bit, but I'll do that actually later. Maybe there's some bands here of where the light is catching. Or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll just make shapes. And then this could be, well, let's see. Let's try this. I'm just going to take like a orange, just an airbrush, and I'm just going to add in, no, not that. What if I do color dodge? I don't actually know what this is going to look like. Kind of looks the same. But yeah, maybe I just want to mess around with orange and stuff. Yeah, maybe there's some bright orangey red stuff shining down here, and this is where starting to try and figure out where are these forms, where's the shadows. Maybe there's this red orange glow on this side, and it's kind of casting a light, and then this part is kind of this green shadow side. It's going to be over here. And this, to me, it requires a lot more brain power, because now I'm having to decide, like, okay, well, what's in shadow, what's in light, how do I actually draw the forms? Like, should this be in light? Probably not. Let's make that also in shadow. And depending on the geometry of the landscape, you're also going to get different things. So this is just where a lot of decisions need to be made. Which honestly, I think this is the fun, like kind of the fun part of painting, is you do get to make decisions. It's also it's also what makes painting hard, in my opinion. What's happening here? Okay, I do like this blue though. Is there a way I can use that? What am I painting? I mean, it's kind of cool. Kinda. The colors are okay. I don't know. I don't like that shape. I think we're gonna do a lot of blue-green stuff today, I've decided. Maybe there's a shape over here. Maybe there's something over here. Ooh, that's kind of cool. These little blue marks. I don't know what it is. Maybe they could be icy things. Could be ice. Is there more over here? That's not bad. I feel like I've done stuff like this before, but maybe there's some sort of I feel like this area here could definitely come in that. Maybe something. I don't know. I like these shapes. I feel like these are pretty cool. I don't know what this bright red is. It almost looks like lava. Maybe it is. Okay, we're painting lava. Or of some sort. Maybe not lava, something. I mean, I'm just putting red in there. Because red is cool, I think. I think that's why I'm putting red in there. Uh-oh, did I disconnect? Am I here? Wait, no, oh, I'm here. King, thanks for the follow. Huh, I dropped some frames and I thought maybe I disconnected. Maybe I did. Didn't even know it. Anyway, I think these are kind of cool. Oh, wait, yes, LOL, I did, wait, yes, I did disconnect, or yes, I am here? Answering yes or no questions with delays when there's like an explanation of the answer is almost impossible. No. Can you see why this is confusing? Yes, you are here. Okay, gotcha. You know, it's funny. I still remember back in one of the few, I don't know if, maybe this was in homeschool, when I was homeschooled in like 3rd grade or 2nd grade. No, it might have been after that. It might have been in actual school. But anyway, one of the few things I remember to this day, almost like verbatim, is when answering a question, repeat the question, right? So like, is the elephant gray? You'd say, yes, the elephant is gray, right? And it's obviously doesn't always apply in real life conversation, but dang, ever since like chatting on the internet, that is a thing that still it sticks around, because it's like, it just, I don't know, it's one of those, it's the same reason why, well, not really the same reason, but it's almost the same reason why, like, when I'm replying to a comment, I'll either read the comment or say the person's name. I try not to just say, like, if someone asks a question, I try not to just say the answer, because then nobody else listening, like, I have to cue them in, you know, on, like, what I'm talking about. So I feel like if, yeah, anyway, that was a thing. It's one of the few things I remember from, like, early school, like, actual school-wise, like, education-wise. And it's kind of, it was like the basic structure of, like, to be clear, if you really want to be clear, you need to restate what it is you're talking about. Same thing with, like, when you use the word it a lot, right? If somebody's like, my toaster is pink. It sometimes gets really hot, right? And it's like, it is good or something. It's like, wait. At some point, you're like, wait, what gets really hot? Like, are we talking about the toaster still, or are we now talking about the weather, right? And at some point, it can be good to reiterate what it is you're talking about just for clarity. Anyway, so those things I feel like are relevant so much online that I don't know. This is unrelated to anything. Why am I even talking about this? I just went on a random rant for no reason. I apologize, but yeah. Oh yeah. I remember why I did that, because it was one of the few things I remember, and it was relevant to that because the way Sumi answered yes. And I was like, wait, guess what? I forget. With a delay, it's hard. Delays make everything difficult. Hey, Gaming Geek, how are you? Okay, so I'm pretty happy with this. Maybe this should not be bright foreground, though. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of cool. Okay, that's cool. Let's do something with this. Actually, you know what I'm gonna try? I'm gonna color dodge before. Nope, not color dodge. I don't want to color dodge. I want actual yellow. Ah, happy birthday! That's exciting. Okay, we're gonna get some white, and then I'm gonna go around the color spectrum. This is my method of manually color dodging. And the reason I'm doing that is because I didn't want it just to get super green, which it still is going to be getting green. Wish me luck drawing. Joe, I drawing digital art. Oh, nice. Good luck. All right, so yeah, that was my manual. Oh wait, it's your first time drawing. Ooh, very cool. Well, it's gonna be hard. I mean, yeah, don't have too high of expectations. Everybody sucks the first time they do anything, unless you're, like, I don't know, super lucky or something. I don't know. But yeah, don't have too high of expectations. But no, you've got this. Okay, so anyway, now I have my glowy spot that isn't too yellow or too green, because I wanted like blue on the outside. That kind of gets to be yellow. And then we get some direct lighting. And then some more direct lighting. And then some blue down here. Maybe something like this. And then down here, we can go a little bit more. I'm trying to think how I want to put this. I think I want like a plateau on top. I think. Also, this timer thing is confusing. Let me just turn this off for a moment. Oh, that's not the one. I just turned off my alert box. Oh, crap. Did I ruin something? Okay. So yeah, let's try this. So I'm trying to make this look like a flat top surface. I'm going to, I think I want to just take blue and go all the way back. And then the top of the blue, kind of like last stream, right? We had the right, because last stream we kind of had the same thing, which was this sort of this layered area, although this is definitely different. I don't know what that is. Something. Maybe, do I still want that yellow there? And this is kind of cool. I like this idea. It's almost like this like inverse of like a sunset. You have the sun somehow being down here. And I'm not sure why. Ooh, I know. Maybe there's like these cracks. Okay, that's not a good way of drawing it, but that's okay. We'll just go like this. This can get very, very flat. Maybe not. How do I want to show this? Actually, if that is, actually I kind of like the idea, but I don't know if the execution's going to work for this thumbnail. Maybe I bring it something like that. So what I'm trying to do here is, one, get a little bit of depth going downward. Two, figure out what the heck this stuff is. And three, actually that's really about it. Oh, maybe there's some trees up here. Or a civilization, I don't know. I'm not really sure exactly what I'm doing. But I am trying just to make something interesting, I guess. I think that's what I'm trying to do. Just make something interesting. Maybe make some shapes that are interesting. Maybe these shapes could go off into the distance and guide our eye into the middle. But we don't really want it too much in the middle. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. If we end up voting for this one, I'm going to have to spend like half of stream fixing it because I don't know what's going on. Maybe just make larger mountains. That could be a thing. Just larger mountain. When in doubt, larger mountains. Let's... No, I think the real struggle is that I don't know what the heck this is. What is it of? I need an idea. Okay, maybe I will. Let's try this. I'm gonna copy. Well, first I'm gonna merge all my layers. Merge, merge, merge. Then I'm gonna copy. Then I'm gonna paste. I'm gonna bring it over here. I'm going to edit, tonal correction, hue saturation. I'm just gonna change the hue. See if I get any ideas. Nope, these are all terrible. That's kind of cool. Nope, just kidding. Okay. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab an overlay layer. I'm going to grab a pink overlay because pink overlay makes stuff look fun. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, I have an idea. This is going to be a city. A city of lights. Or something. Nope, that looks just like a fire. Hold on. I mean, that's kind of cool. Okay, whatever. We're just gonna go with that. A fire city. A city, something on fire. Hey, Emmanuel, how are you? Okay, so there we go. Some winged stuff. Okay, do I like that? Maybe we can add some stuff in the background. Maybe there's like something up here. I do feel like it would suit us well to maybe shift where this is. Oh, let's try this. Let me converge layers. Let me just move this over here, just in a super loose way. And then, of course, we gotta get the clouds. Nice, poofy, floofy clouds. Maybe. Anyway, that's kind of cool. I don't know. We can always add some darker values in the foreground. Maybe there's rocks. Maybe we even add some lighter values in the foreground, right? We could add like grayish rocks or something. Gray blue rocks where it's getting some of that light. I don't know, that might look funny though. I think it's good to just keep the values simple for now. Okay, well there's something. I don't feel like it's wide enough though. I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna keep that for now. No, it's still pretty similar to the other one, right? Oh, what happened to the other one? Oh yeah, there's that. Okay. Let's see. I think it'd be cool to do like some sort of village or city. Like I like this idea. I think this is fun. Also, because it has people in it. I think that's fun, but I want to do something more. So I'm gonna erase the people, make them smaller. I'm gonna exaggerate this. These are gonna be trees. How big do I want the trees? I guess like this. This is not gonna be a tree though. It's one thing I'm not gonna allow myself to do. No big tree. This is gonna be arson would look good, right? Arson? What do you mean arson would look good? Like lighting things on fire? Arson? I mean, I guess. Arson can look nice, but it's not good. I don't recommend it. It's probably illegal where you are. I think arson is always illegal. Yeah, don't light things on fire. Is that what you're talking about? Anubov? Arson? Am I confused? Probably. It is, but drawing would look fun with people looking at it. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like, yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, I didn't even consider that, mostly because the color palette just wasn't in line with what it would look like, and so typically once I've decided the color palette, I tend to keep pretty close to it if I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, you could... I typically am not that flexible with my color palette. Like, if I really want something like that, I guess I could. Like, I could shift this all to reddish or something if I wanted. I am curious what I want to do here, though. Oh, we definitely need hills back here. If this is like a farmland or something. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's not that I'm not flexible, but I've mentioned before that I typically have like a starting point of some sort. It could be colors, it could be shapes, it could be anything. But once if I have colors early on, I don't generally do major changes. I might if I'm doing like a different idea from it, or if I, like you said, if you come up with an idea that you like, I might go back and be like, oh, let's just, backpedal and copy this and do it over again and see what we come up with this second time. But yeah, typically if it's something like this, I won't be like, oh, let's just add a ton of red into it. Also, things like fire are, because they're a light source, to me, it seems like a no-brainer to make the thing, to really embrace that light source, right? Like if you want to show, fire, then show, lots of red. It's really illuminating things. What am I doing here? Okay, so there's something. I'm just pushing colors. I'm just pushing shapes around right now. But anyway, what's everyone else working on? Anyone who's coming in here for the first time or not? What are you working on today? Thank you for the follow. Tiny Fox, how are you? What if we do like a whole bunch of white flowers, but because they're all in shade, they're all very blue. Maybe we'll even make them more blue. Embrace the shadow color. I'm not really worried about the placement right now. I'm just kind of trying to get an idea down. I'm revising for oh, you're studying for a math test in calculus. Nice. It's funny, I took 2 years of calculus. So I took Calc 1 and Calc 2. I believe I passed them both, and I don't remember anything from either of them. I don't know how that happened because it wasn't. I mean, it's also like the more recent of some of my education. Like it was in college, right? It's not like it's some random high school class. Like it was. I took calc in college, but I don't remember any of it. Like I remember derivatives, but I don't know anything about what we were doing with. I don't remember. I'm basically like I don't know anything about it. I think the reason is because conceptually. What about the paint? No, I mean no. So normally I actually like math in the sense that I like the concepts and I like the stuff around it. Like I like it in theory, I just don't like doing it. And from what I remember, calc was a lot more of understanding what you need to do than actually doing it. It wasn't like algebra where you're doing, yeah, it just felt like it was a lot less calculation intensive, right? It was more like, do you understand what's going on? And I typically love that stuff, but I don't remember, I don't think I ever learned what the heck I was doing. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I was really bad at it. But no, I like math in general. I think it's cool. I just don't like doing the calculation, which, you have computers for. Anyway, not too bad, honestly. Just struggling to finish some art pieces I'm working on. I feel that. I'm struggling to do anything right now. I'm not to like try to one-up you or anything. I don't think I am. I hope. Sorry, that sounded really terrible. But no, I'm not. Basically, I am really tired right now. And I don't know. Some of these are turning out okay. I'm just trying to play around with color, to be honest, right now. What if I do this? What if I do like a color dodge? Color dodge is always good. But I feel like color dodge doesn't look good with blues typically. But yeah, I feel that though with struggling to finish. Do you struggle with like the patience side of things? Because like once I get to like this stage, right? Even like, so this is from last stream. Like even this, it's hard for me to bring myself to do things more than just like the initial stages. I think I don't know if it's a patience or ADHD or just I just don't enjoy that aspect, which is, I don't think that's true, because I think I do enjoy the rendering and the more nuanced stuff, but I just don't typically like to sit down for long stretches of time and just render away at a painting. It's really hard for me to get into that mindset. Yeah, this was, well, yeah, this is how the one from last stream turned out. I mean, when I say turned out, it's still a sketch. Well, see, I'm the opposite. I have this fear for one. Well, no, I'm not the opposite. I'm different. um, on some hand, I it's not so much I don't like rendering, right? So it's not that I want to render them forever. Oh wait, hold on. It's also hard to know when things are done. I don't. Oh, see, I'm okay with leaving things very, very loose, and I never feel like it needs more rent. Like if it doesn't, if anything, I think I quit early and I keep my stuff too loose, and it's like, oh, maybe some refining would be good. So for example, the painting I'm working on, which I need to upload it, but I don't. Maybe it's not quite done. I don't know. We'll call it this. Nope, this isn't it. This is well, I think it's the best I can share. Maybe this? Yeah, this is kind of. Yeah, is this more circular? I don't know. This isn't the totally up to date version. Ah, Noosh Arts, how are you? Or not how are you? Thank you for the 50 bits. It's very generous. So this is the thing that I'm working on off stream. I'm basically gonna upload it. I think I've already fixed the circle shape. It was looking a little wonky, but I don't think this is the newest version. Maybe it is. Anyway, but I want to work a little bit more on it. But like this, it's hard for me to render past this, right? Like in theory, I could just start toiling away at this and you know, make everything super rendered. But I kind of don't want to. Like, I just don't enjoy it. But like I sometimes get the feel that like I should pick a few key areas and focus on them. But like, for example, if this character in the background, if I start refining or defining every shape, at some point it just might look a little too pristine, right? And like, I like it painterly, but it's hard for me to know like how much further do I take it. I could just keep taking it further, but I don't like that look. So on one hand, my preferences align with my habits. Like I don't like rendering, and I also don't like over-rendered stuff, so it kind of works out. But at the same time, I do think sometimes I quit a little early, and I don't really make it shiny and nice. And that, even a loose painting still has a shiny version of it, right? Like, it could just be that maybe your shapes are a little bit more intentional, or maybe your paint strokes, even though they're still very visible, their shapes are more interesting, right? Whatever that means. And so I do feel like I feel that a lot with the rendering thing, because yeah, I don't like rendering. It is my least favorite part of painting by far. Like, it's not even a contest. It's my least favorite. Some people like rendering though, and I think different people, different things. As much as it is readable. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think it needs to be super nice. I mean, a lot of it is just preferences. And yeah, as long as it's readable. And that's what I like. But there is a cleanness, right? Like, there are some artists, and of course, he's, especially with the AI stuff, his name's come up a lot. But like Greg Rutowski, or Rutkowski? R-U-T Rutkowski. I don't know how you say his name. Gregory Rutkowski. Anyway, that guy, right? He does some very, very painterly stuff. But it also looks finished, right? I sometimes get the impression my stuff might look loose and kind of painterly, but unfinished, right? Like, I don't know. I think there's a difference, and I can tell the difference. But I also don't mind this. Like, this is, I think, finished enough. Maybe this shape is a little confusing. But anyway. So yeah, that's a thing that I've been thinking about. Tapered shapes are the most interesting. Oh, well, sorry. When I say interesting shapes, I don't mean like these. When I was talking about brush strokes, the shape of the brush stroke, I meant like this, right? Like like if you're, instead of having a brush stroke like that, maybe you make it like this, right? And then you're like, okay, well, there's one brush stroke, right? And if I were to, you know, put a shape in there, like maybe there's ways to make these brush strokes, right? Maybe it's like this, right? You come like that, and like, okay, well, I'm gonna add a little bit of light, and that light's just gonna fall off, and it's okay. There's that one brush stroke. It's kind of painterly still. It's loose, but it creates hard edges in the right spot and soft. Anyway, I don't want that there. But that's kind of what I mean. But some people have really good shape design, right? All of their shapes, right? They'll have like a nice little, you know, shape here of light. It'll just perfectly go down this way. It'll connect to this shape of light, right? And it'll like, they'll make the perfect little shapes and stuff. Or maybe they're even more just simple than that, right? That's the wrong. Anyway, let's close that and don't save. So yeah, I don't know. That's definitely something that I want to work on. Or I'm always working on it. That's the thing. That's like the one thing that I'm always working on. Is like figuring out how to finish a painting, and I'm not too afraid of over rendering, because one, I don't like rendering, and two, I never spend that much time, so it's probably not really a fear. But also, I can always just go backwards, right? So, and I keep telling myself I need to do this, and this is a lesson I learned from playing like League of Legends or really just any video game. But it's always good to go too far and learn from it, right? So like saying I'm going to render this until I can't render anymore, and I'm gonna kind of take stock of it each stage of the way, and I'm going to over render my paintings so that I know where not to go, right? It's like I'm gonna learn the absolute maximum render limit of like if I just render everything equally, right? And then you say, okay, well now I'm gonna render everything almost equally, but some things slightly more than others, and you start to kind of hone in on like how far you can take things that still look good. And I'm not there, right? I don't ever take it that far. Oh, happy lurk, beer runner. That turned out awesome. I didn't like the green sky in the thumbnail. Glad you changed it. Oh, it was a little weird. It was a little weird. It changed a lot. I mean, well, let's leave it at that. That painting changed a lot. Maybe we'll do like a floating island thing. What could this be? I mean, it kind of looks like a river with some trees. I think I said, didn't I say something about not painting trees? Maybe I don't know. Maybe these trees have some interesting shapes. And by shape, I technically mean form, but I am actually just painting shapes right now. So technically I actually don't mean form. I do think I use the wrong words a lot when I talk, and I'm like, I'll be talking about the form of something, but in my mind I'm just thinking about it in a 2D shape, but I'm kind of still drawing the form. Like these tree shapes, even though I'm drawing them as just simple 2D shapes, the second I kind of have an understanding of what the form might look like. So I never know if I should talk about it in terms of form or not, or if it gets confusing. Which I feel like that is a distinction, Zilly, about... You didn't need to say that. Don't spoil the raids. No, that's fine. Even if he doesn't, maybe he'll change his mind. Sometimes people change their mind. Sometimes people change their mind, so I'm not gonna count my chickens before they hatch. Is Zilly a hatching chicken? I don't think so. I don't know what that means. Oh shoot, I didn't know. No, it's fine, it's fine. It doesn't actually matter, but I think it's kind of common courtesy. Like, maybe it's not. Maybe people just don't give a crap. Maybe it's literally only me who cares. And I don't even care that much. But I always feel like it's kind of fun to surprise. No painting is ever finished, just abandoned. I mean, I guess that's one way to look at it. I don't know. I mean, it's finished when you want to be finished with it, but I get what you're saying. Kind of like that. This is fun. But yeah, in general though, I don't really like it too much when people say who's rating who, because one, raiders change they change decisions sometimes, and two, I think it's kind of fun for it to be a surprise, and I don't know. Again, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. But yeah, polyhedral cathedral. I agree. Yeah, I think the whole idea of like when is a painting finished, it all comes down to the metrics you set for yourself, which is the same way that you make a painting at all, right? Like you make up ways to judge your own paintings, right? And it might be and a level like they're I don't know. I mean, we all hold ourselves to certain standards, right? When I look at a painting, my standards might be that I can tell what it is, right? That's a pretty simple one. Maybe it's that the brushstrokes, Marco Bucci put it good or had a good one. He liked his brushstrokes to have a uniqueness to them, right? Zilly, welcome Raiders, welcome Raiders. How's it going, Zilly? Thank you for the raid. Welcome to the stream where I'm super tired and nothing I say is making any sense, probably. What are you up to, Zilly? How's it going? Zilluminati's here. I saw Cold Case. Right? We got the spoilers going on. Just kidding. It didn't ruin the raid. It did not ruin the raid, Cold Case. You were just yeah. I gave Cold Case a stern talking to. I said, "Don't you spoil raids, young person." Actually, I didn't, but I don't even know if they're young. But anyway, yeah, I gave him a talking to. It won't happen again. But yeah, no, spoiling raids is not a big deal. It's some people. I mean, I think at a certain point, it's one of those things. It happens, I mean, people spoil raids. People like to spoil raids. It's fun. I don't know. I think of it as like raiding can be fun though. It can be a surprise, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Don't feel bad about it. Listen, Jack. Yeah, listen here, you buckaroo. Anyway, how are you, Zilly? What were you working on? Working on a work in progress. Okay. Nice. Yeah. So I know you're probably wanting to take off, but we were just talking about like finishing paintings and when our painting's finished. And my best way of summing it up, I think, is that we all kind of have our own internal metrics that we judge our own paintings on. And once we meet those, then we call it finished. And for some people, those are like, I want really polished details. And other people are like, I just want it readable. And other people have much more nuanced metrics. And I kind of feel like some of them are going to be more concrete things, like I want consistent perspective. I don't want to be looking up at some object that's down low and down at an object that's up high. Like, sometimes you just want consistency and like lighting and perspective. And other times it's much more like, storytelling type stuff, or I don't know, everybody has their own metrics, I think. And there's obviously a lot of shared ones that people, common wisdom and stuff. But yeah, I think that's a hard question though, because there's obviously no answer, right? But everybody kind of knows for themselves when a painting's finished, right? But then sometimes people will look at other people's work and be like, oh, it's a great work in progress. And they're like, oh, that's my finished work. I'm like, maybe there's something to it. Yeah, it varies. Yeah, sometimes I think you can get away. I think it depends on the piece too, right? I mean, that's what you're saying, but like it depends, because sometimes the pieces point, right? Obviously, if you're doing like a study, right? A study is finished once you've learned something, if you do studies. If you're just doing a little silly sketch, maybe a color sketch just for exploration, it might be finished once you've got an idea, or maybe it's finished once I don't know, whatever. But I think as far as like finished work goes, looking great so far, and I spent like 40 hours on it and almost done. Yeah. And then other times it's like, wow, this looks really nice, and it's like it's just a quick loose sketch, and you're like, oh, that's finished. Yeah, it's hard though, because I think ultimately it's just you make those decisions based on your knowledge of painting, your expectations for yourself, your preferences, your like everything, right? It's just literally all of your knowledge, and you're kind of creating your own mini goal. I don't know. It's weird. It's one of those weird things I think people don't really talk about a ton because it's so specific, but at the same time, I think there's some really interesting stuff going on to like how people make those decisions. And anyway, Moss Creep, how are you? And yeah, I'm just doing my thing. I have a painting. Oh, I have a painting. Look at that. Beautiful. No. Nope, not that. That's not it either. Where is it? This is the thing. I think I've been working on this. I mean, I have been working on it. I'm pretty happy with it. It's still kind of chunky. I know you would want to soften this up, but I like. I actually am thinking about sharpening this because I do like the look of like the sharpened look. I know it's kind of overdone when people go like sharpen and then filter, sharpen more, right? But I kind of like the look. Like I don't know. It has an interestingness to it. Anyway, Zilly, do you want to share anything? Drop a link, spam, do the shilly zilly real quick. Joe, I need to go. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you for being here, Zoomy Master. I appreciate it. Take care. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out for myself what finishing a painting means because I hate rendering. I don't like I think you have well, I think Zilly has more patience than I do. But I don't have much patience when it comes to painting and doing detailed stuff. So normally I quit after a while. Anyway, um, gonna do a shilly zilly. Nice. All right, we got the Zillustrator.com, Instagram, Patreon, and Twitter. Nice. That is a good 10 out of 10 shill. And work in progress. Ooh, let's take a look. Ah, yes, this painting. Wait. Oh, I love it. I love the column on. I feel like I've seen this before, which I think I have because it's a work in progress probably. But this column on the right, this little like, is that newish? I feel like I haven't. For some reason, I remember this painting or something very close to it, and but I don't remember that specific column. Like I don't. I'm curious if that was added like after this, like because I remember like the wall, like the wall of clouds or water or stuff, right? Like you have this giant. I did some repainting. Okay, but I really like the column. I don't know something about like we were talking about just like geometric shapes and just like I like that. It's just this cool column of. I know you can't see my mouse, but I know, I know you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's super nice. The colors are so good, all the little subtleties, like all this stuff even, just like the little paint strokes. Even the like the most and this is something that I think a lot of we were talking about metrics on how to decide if something is done, the wall of stuff, yeah. And I think it was like Marco Bucci or somebody, right? He was like every part he just wants every part to be interesting and not too samey, right? Like that, so he used a lot of different brushes, and he obviously has a very different style. But I feel like that's a good metric to have in painterly styles, is to if you zoom in on a spot or look at a spot, it has interesting brushwork, right? You have different shapes that are interesting. You have colors and values and brushwork that is just exciting and interesting. And I feel like you nail that when it comes to like, you zoom in and you're like, oh, this is just it's so interesting. All the little nuanced brushstrokes and yeah, all the little blues and just there's little bits of color here and there. Anyway, yeah. I know Zilly doesn't like being compared to other people, and I'm trying not to compare his art to other people, just like that one very specific metric that we were talking about when like how to decide when it's done, right? And it's like you want to make and I think that's one thing like not every artist does that, right? Some artists don't, they like the, only painting with one brush and they have tons of repetition in shapes, but I feel like you just make everything nice and soft and interesting, but you use a variety of softness, right? Sometimes it's more blendy, blurry. Other time it's, textured softness. Other times it's just different things. The shapes themselves are different. Yeah. Gotta see that. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure the final resolution is fantastic. But yeah, no, that's super beautiful, Zilly. Always blown away. I mean, I mention you quite a bit here, since, I have like this brush. Although I haven't been using these brushes as much, but they're still here and they're great. Zilly's brushes. Check them out. I'm gonna paint a little bit with Zilly brushes. Make some interesting shapes. Maybe, I don't even know what this brush does. This is probably an old brush. No, I don't like those shapes. What am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm using like ancient brushes, dude. Yeah, the brushes that I was using from you are really old. I do need to download more of them and try out the new stuff, see how I like it. Maybe I'd love it. Maybe I'd hate it. Who knows? But I won't know until I try. So yeah, I definitely need to try it out. But yeah. Thank you so much for rating, though. I really appreciate it. CAD Studio, how are you? Okay, let's put some tall, light bluish stuff back here. I feel like, oh, not that light blue. We'll just go like that. Got a bail by Joe in chat. See you, Zilly. Thank you again. I appreciate it, as always. One of these days, you'll be live when I end stream, and I will raid you. Actually, now that you're leaving and I spoiled a bit, you actually were live a while back when I ended stream, and I was going to raid you, but there was also somebody else on who I hadn't raided or even seen on in like a year, and so I decided to raid them instead, and now I feel bad. Which, I shouldn't feel bad for picking someone to raid, but still, I do want to raid you. One of these days, I'm gonna see you online, and I'm gonna be like, you're the person to raid. It's because it's been a while. I feel like it's been a hot minute, as the saying goes. I don't know what makes the minute hot. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, there's a quick thumbnail. Let's do another. Oh God, we're way over time. Well, I want something to vote on, so let's add. Let's do this one. This looks like a mountain. Let's make it a mountain. Thank you, Meisuaisu. Meisuaisu, how are you? Maybe these are mountains, but they're angry. And they're, I don't know, we have a silhouette back here. This is kind of what we did last stream, actually, with this, like, you're looking down that kind of thing. And then we have, like, maybe there's a shape or something. Actually, hold on. What if we do, like, a cavern or a crater? Actually, how do I want to do that? Maybe like that. I don't know, actually. Gotta think about this. What do I want to do here? I think what I want to do is... Actually, I don't know. I mean, I kind of want to color dodge. That's always my answer. Whenever I don't know what to do, I think color dodge is the answer. Now, I still want to explore with colors for sure, though. I want to do more low... That was weird. Let's merge these. And then duplicate this, and then bring it down. I just want to start out with some interesting shapes. And maybe we can come up with something that is a bit more exciting. Maybe we'll just do like a giant... No, I feel like mountains... Like, don't get me wrong, mountainscapes are fascinating and I like them and I like painting mountains. But I will say, I'm no Bob Ross. I kind of get bored of them after a while. Like, I can't just paint mountains. Like, I love mountains, and they're cool and they're fun, and yes, I realize you can have all different types of mountains and different clouds and fog and colors and light and all this stuff, which is what makes landscapes in general exciting in the first place for me, is that there's just so many options. But I will say, I feel like at some point my brain is just like, you know, maybe not another mountain today. You know? Do you guys ever feel like that? Like but maybe with something else, like characters, if you do characters or whatever. LGN Art, how are you? Or maybe I'm just weird. Like, it's still the thing that I like the most. So what am I doing here? Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. And then we're gonna vote in like 10 minutes. We're gonna go really, really bright back here. And then I want a little bit of light. A little bit of dark. But I want this to be, let's see. Just trying to make some interesting colors. Some interesting shapes. Maybe there's some other shapes back here. Maybe... Oh, I know. Okay, I got an idea. So we have these little shapes here, like this orange. I feel like that could totally be an area. So that looks very sci-fi, actually. Kinda, maybe not very sci-fi, but kinda sci-fi. Nope, not that. Let's go like this. Something like that, maybe? I do feel like this is something's happening here. Maybe I'll add the pawns. Pawns always help, like, I don't know, not train the brain, but they always help me just be like, okay, well that makes sense. Let's see, maybe some stuff back there. Oh, thanks for the hydrate. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on in that painting. Thank you, Tiny Fox. Drinking my cold tea. Delicious. No, I actually do like it. It's kind of grown on me. I mean, it didn't start cold. That's why it grows on me, because... Okay, hold on. I keep on doing the same thing. Okay. I'm gonna erase this. We are gonna do a painting with the horizon line up top. Eye level, eyes up here. That's what we're doing. Eyes up here, looking down. We got some some kind of 3-point perspective-y stuff going on, maybe. I mean, we could put the horizon line off the page, but I don't know. I like... and we're going to be looking down at objects. I mean, we could make the horizon, like the eye level, off the page. I mean, we don't do a lot of that. So if these are, you know, coming up here, I mean, that's pretty accurate, right? That's pretty close to what I was doing. We'll put it up there. Looking down at something. No idea what it's going to be yet, but I kind of have an idea. Not really, but a little bit of an idea. Just trying to sketch out some basic geometric forms. Maybe some waterfalls. Okay, now I'm just going to start going for it. Just freestyling. I kind of have an idea of some stuff that I might want to do. Let's just pick some giant chunky brushes. Okay. Okay, so this is gonna be a forest, I've decided right now. But this is gonna be the top of trees. So I'm just gonna pick like a bright yellow. And we're gonna go like this. This is our eyes up here. And then, I don't know what that big shape is. Okay, so these are the horizon line. Just gonna scribble in there. Hey, new here. Your work looks amazing. I'm self-taught photo manipulator, but currently trying to learn digital painting. Nice. I think they're both really useful to learn. I don't know if you've seen a lot of like, especially like older concept art workflows, where people did a lot of like value sketches, just black and white shapes, kind of like what this might look like if you were to just break things. Oh, I should not be doing this. Hold on. Let's do this a different way. So let's actually try to. Okay. I realize Kath is going to come in here and tell me to slide the show, but the slideshow. But anyway, so a lot of times people will start paintings in simple black and white like this. And then once they do that, then they'll start like layering textures and stuff on top to like photo bash the textures and the photos into the shapes and forms that they want. And then they, of course, match the values with like curves. And that way they're, if you have like a medium gray shape of stuff, right? Like whatever it is, like maybe it's a, forest or a temple or something, right? You can bash all your textures in there and you kind of balance it for the composition. And then you can do the same with the dark foreground, right? And then you can do that same with the light background. And you can get really nice effects just by setting up your painting basically in the grayscale. Yeah. So that's something that was really common with photo textures. So it's kind of a combination of painterly painting, or sorry, of painting and photo manipulation. And I always thought that was cool. I never really fell in love with photo manipulation or like photo bashing even, but it definitely has some cool uses. But yeah, I'm sure you didn't need me to tell you that. But yeah, welcome in. I hope you're doing well, Maya. Okay, these values though are all goofed up, so let's fix this. Some very, very far down trees. Maybe there's like branches going like this around. That could be cool. Maybe this one comes off the page. No, maybe not. Maybe it... something like that. Thank you, no worries. I'm always happy to hear another artist's thoughts. Yeah, I mean, everybody has different... That's true. I just never know on stream, because sometimes, I guess when you said you're trying to learn digital painting, I always just assume that everyone starts with, like, very little knowledge about digital painting. And since the two worlds can have a lot of overlap, but it could also have very little, depending on what you do and how you learned photo manipulation. Like, to me, I don't know how much of values you, like, if you think about painting or photo manipulation by thinking of values, but in painting, black and white values are oftentimes like one of the most important things, especially if you're going to end up doing photo manipulation on top, because that has like, that's kind of the bones of your painting. And like, if your painting doesn't look good in black and white, it's not going to look good in color. Here's some like weird canopy things that I'm going to put in here. And then maybe there's like waterfalls back here. Or something. I don't know. Maybe not waterfalls. Okay, and this is... I'm just kind of scribbling in here with the lasso brush. Some texture. Joe, you look good in black and white. Thanks. Thanks. I am painting in color, by the way. Like, you guys can't see it, but I am. Also, I had an idea that this was going to be up top, wasn't I? Another one of those things where... So, after yesterday's painting... I realized that I like this kind of split thing with up top. It's an interesting composition. But I think to make it look good, I almost guarantee... I basically need... what do I need? I need it to be a little bit crooked. Cheater? What do you mean cheater? How am I a cheater? What did I cheat? What did I cheat? What are you talking about? You cheated us. What do you mean? I missed something. And maybe there's some stuff coming up here. Maybe some things there. I don't know, I feel like this is kind of cool. But anyway, this is one of the reasons why working in black and white is so effective, because you can really start to just carve out shapes, and it's all about, yeah, just carving out shapes. And then from there, then you can start painting. Yeah, what do you mean I cheated you? I'm not sure. I missed something, I think. I think I missed something. so there's that. Let's see. Do I want some? I feel like I want. Joe, you gave us black and white version while you had colors. Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I've mentioned that I do that a lot. A lot of times I'll be painting in black and white when you guys have colors, though, so it actually balances it out. Black and white's just super useful to paint in, but also it's not as nice on stream. Not as many people like it. Okay, I'm going to do kind of what I did last painting. I'm trying to learn from last stream's painting. And if I ended up doing the same thing, it's okay. Can I do an overlay, I wonder? No, that looks bad. Well, kind of bad. Kind of not. Maybe now I can put some of this green up here. So trying to get these branches up to the tippy top where the light is. And they're just gonna some of them will have light on them, but not all of them. I don't know, that's kind of cool. I kind of like it. I mean, it's kind of similar to what we did last stream. It's almost actually exactly like we did last stream, except I think this looks better because I didn't make it as bad. I think this should have less blue in the distance and then more blue in the foreground. Probably not that much blue. I don't know. That's kind of cool, I guess. Is that the right amount of blue? Ooh, what we could have... Boop, boop. Hey, how's it going? What we could also have is a little bit of bright orange or yellow. Be one with the wa. Overlord Kitsune, how are you? Maybe there's a... I don't know, something down here. Maybe there's a person. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna add a character. We're gonna be like, person. Maybe not a person. Maybe just a ghost. Little blobs. No, I don't know. Maybe just little bits of light. That's all. Be the wonderful. We be the wonderful. Be one with the we be the... I don't totally follow, but yeah, how are you? How are you? Whoa, that's what you mean. Oh, you were another early stream raid spoiler. Just kidding. Where is that what you're... I see. Cult of Ron. Did you just come in with the raid? Did I break Jay? I think you were doing the raid spoiler, right? But in a different way. Is that what you're doing? I don't know. Anyway, this seems to be conversation topic of today. Raid spoiling. No, I want. Okay, I'm broken then. I wasn't? Okay. Anyway, how are you doing? Ronald, how are you? Cult of Ron, welcome in. Alright, just in time for voting. we are going to vote between all of those right there. Let me just reorder them so that I can do this properly. I'm only going to do a 5-minute vote, though. We're going to do a quick one today. Let me just reorder that to there. Oops. And this one to there. And then I'm going to go like this. And that. I could do a more, oops, what's going on there? Like that. And make a new layer. And that. There we go. I think that works. And then I can turn this on. So many good thumbnails today. Thank you. It was strange. It rated weirdly. Doing well today, sir. 3 has my vote. BRB. All right. Well, we're not quite ready to vote. I still have to make the straw poll. Still got to make the straw poll. But yeah, for everyone coming in, welcome in. My name's Joe. I do art. If you haven't figured that out already, I don't know what's going on. Winked. How are you? Or Winked. Hope you're doing well today. Thank you for coming in. But yeah, so I do environments, mostly fantasy stuff. I kind of just sketch from imagination for the first half of the stream. And then the second half, I take one of those thumbnail sketches and then refine it for a bit. And that's what we are going to do right now. But first, I'm going to make the straw poll. Vote for whichever's. And there's going to be 7 options. 4, 5, 6, and 7. Allow selection of multiple options. Yes. Create poll. There we go. Ban 3. How would I ban 3? Anyway, there is the straw poll. It is in chat. I will pin it to the top here in just a moment once I load up my own Twitch and go pin this message for 5 minutes and 5 minutes. There we go. Alrighty. But yeah, anyway, welcome in everyone. Thank you for the follow, Paul Karanja. Hope you're doing well. And as usual, these aren't all going to stay the same. They are just whichever one is voted on, I will continue working on. I may change it. Like, for example, number 3, I actually like the colors, but I don't really like the composition. So I'll probably change that. Number 5 or like 4, really any of them, I'm going to change stuff about them. And that's kind of the point, is just, maybe I come up with a little idea or what, a theme behind the thing. Or maybe not. Just depends. Just depends. All right, let's see. Vana says, I painted some more on the demon. Ooh, let's take a look. And also, Ronald, if you want to share what you're working on, please do. I realized you said BRB because you probably went to go to the bathroom or to eat or something to stretch those legs. You did some coloring. Nice. Nice. Also, the little teddy bear. It's cute. I like it. All right, let's see. Do we have anybody? Did anybody vote yet? Let me take a look. I'm going to vote for just one of them. So I really like number 5, but we also just did something like it. I'm actually going to go for number 7 and 1 and 2 and 3. No, just kidding. I don't know which one I'm going to go for, actually. Maybe I want to vote for 5, but we also just did one like 5, like literally yesterday. And then, also maybe I can make this larger. You really like 4? Yeah, 4 has something nice about it. Yeah, 4 is cool. I do like 4. But I think 7 has my vote. Wait, 3? Oh, okay, nobody voted for 3, actually. But we do have technically 1, because somebody said 3 before they left. 3 has your vote. Unfortunately, I don't think 3 is even in the running. Hello, how are you? Karokale, how are you? Welcome in, welcome in. You banned 3. What do you mean you banned 3? You don't get to ban any of them. Although maybe it worked because clearly nobody's voting for it. No, I think 3's composition is just confusing and it's hard to tell what's going on and the colors are confusing. There's just no clarity. But I do think that it could end up looking really nice. Do you have a Discord, by the way? I do. I do have a Discord. And just to see how many more seconds. Okay, we have 1 minute and 50 seconds left of the voting. There's the straw poll again if you're just coming in. Or if you're just coming in and you want to share art, feel free to share some art. I want to see what people are working on. Although technically you should wait until after the poll's done so that it's not confusing with random link spam. And, 1 link per person, all that stuff. But yeah, anyway, what's everybody been working on today? And how is everyone during this moment of downtime? What the heck? It's already 2:40. Wait, what? How have I... Okay, I'm way over time on the voting. Dang, time flies when you're tired. I don't know if I, just space out and I stop talking for a long time, and then I come to, and it's like, holy crap, time has passed. Because I don't... It's almost weird. Like, I almost don't... It does not feel like over 2.5 hours. So I don't know what's been happening all stream. Because I sure as heck didn't do a lot of thumbnails. Normally, I can do 9 in 2 hours. Well, not normally. I've been slow lately. But, yeah, 9 in 2 hours is not impossible. Anyway, I don't know what's going on today. I mean, I do, but, yeah. But, yeah, I do have a Discord. You can join. You'll have to click the emoji. You have to follow the directions. I kind of made it more confusing than it needed to be to get into Discord, but if you can figure it out, then you deserve to be there. And if not, then I don't know. Troyski, thanks for the follow. No, if you have any question getting into Discord, let me know. Or seeing the channels, then let me know. You really just have to click an emote. How is Austria? It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Very, very good. Welcome in, Troyski. Okay, so wait, which one won? Let me see. Refresh. Number 7. Number 7 has won. Alright. Yeah, Austria was amazing. I got lots of good references, and I'm happy with how... Yeah, I mean, I didn't go there for references, but, I mean, talking about art, right, it was awesome. Took lots of photos, saw lots of stuff, hung out, did lots of things. It was just... We were very touristy, wandering around and yeah, doing all the touristy stuff. Zoos, aquariums, that kind of thing. Castles, museums, ice skating. It was good. It was a good time. I miss it, actually, a lot. I want to go back. Someday, I will return. Anyway, although I will say, one of the cool things, when I got back, because I had taken so many photos and stuff, there was a painting that I did immediately upon getting back, and it's one that I really am liking. It's this. So, it's obviously... I added a noise filter to it, and I haven't decided if I like it yet. I can always remove it. But anyway, this is the thing. But there were so many, statues and buildings with little statues on them and stuff. And that's kind of what inspired this, is all the little statues. I swear, every other building has, little, not gargoyles, but they just have, statues of, cherubs and various things. Just, random people who are probably important in some way. Just so many little things like that. So that was something that I thought was really cool. And it really did. I don't think I've ever said this before, but it is one of those things where maybe for the first time ever, like I'm like, dang, I just want to paint stuff that's related to that. Very, very rarely does that happen. Normally it's like things will influence my paintings without me realizing it. But this was like, oh my god, I can incorporate that and that and that. Like, oh, I can incorporate these greenish tones of like this what do you call it? Bronze or whatever, copper patina type color. Like incorporating that into there. Like there's just so much stuff that I'm like, oh my god, I need to paint this. These little rounded buildings everywhere. Anyway, this obviously doesn't look like Austria, but it was still very cool, and I highly recommend it. Let me close all of these random paintings. That, I don't know why is he. We can keep that one open. We'll close that. But yeah, I don't know if Ronald's still here, but if he is, feel free to drop a link to share something. I would love to see it. I think other people would like to see what you were working on. And yeah, you can do that. Oh, you are here. Okay, great. Yeah, if you want to share anything, feel free. I'd love to share. I like it when people, well, especially, and you specifically because you rated. What am I doing? Oh yeah, number 7. I'm gonna copy it, paste it. Oh, not like that. Not copy or paste. Copy it and paste it, and then stretch it. Ooh, I'm getting vibes on this one already. I'm feeling good about this already. This is gonna be a good painting. I can feel it in my bones. That's even a thing. And the reason I say that is because I think I already like the colors. All I want to do is darken some of the shadows in like the foreground, and maybe in the midground. But yeah, I feel like I can turn this into something nice. Don't know what yet, but oh, this is so cool. I love these. Agnil Hiruvok. Hard name to say. Hyphenated names. I always struggle. It's got its own biome. Ooh, it's an eldritch biome. Nice. I like it. This is cool. These are so cool. Okay, so you're gonna have to refresh my memory, or to put it in like how podcasters and stuff will say it. They're like, so for those of us in the audience, for those listeners who who aren't familiar with your work, would you like to explain what project this is part of or something? Which is actually code for I totally forgot. But yeah, would you like to explain to the other people what this project is? Because it's totally a part of something. I just don't remember what. But yeah, it's very cool. Abomination Commander Agnil Heruvok. Yeah, no, it looks wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to do an overlay, and I'm just going to pick a dark color. I don't know what this is going to do. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so I am trying to come in here with a little bit of dark shadows. And I did this just by overlay, and I'm just using a light touch on my pen. Kind of carving out where I want things to be. I don't know, maybe this could be lighter. So I'm erasing some. That's kind of cool. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay. Hi, I'm Ron Maxwell. I run World Building 101 on Twitch. It is a stream where I love the pitch, by the way. It is a stream where I work with the people of chat to build a fully functional fantasy and sci-fi world, one drawing at a time. That figure comes from our xenomorphic eldritch horror biome. Oh, okay. And we run a project where we explore the multiverse and build a sanctuary for dying planes of existence. Okay, so do you have like... So we actually did a similar world building project. Do you have a place, if anybody were to want to get more info into which all the biomes, and if they were to... Is it only you, when you say we, is it you specifically adding to this, like your personal project, or is it a community project? And are community members allowed to, like, is there a place they can submit their work and, like, check out the different biomes for, like, the uninitiated? Like, I got there's an eldritch horror biome, right? Or a xenomorphic eldritch horror biome. I'm not entirely sure what xenomorphic means. But yeah, no, I think projects with different biomes and like different little like almost like Magic the Gathering, right? Where you have like the 5 land types and then you also have mixtures of them, right? And each of